Hello everyone, we are back here with Aisha Buchanan. We're talking about 3 hot topics today that is going on in the hip hop world. The first being Drake versus Chance the Rapper. So I read an article recently that says, Drake and Chance are the voices of our millennial generation, but they have 2 very different voices. So I'm here with Aisha so she can tell me her opinion on the Drake versus Chance the Rapper. So what is your opinion on both?
As far as Drake, I wouldn't necessarily say he's like the direct voice of our generation. I feel as though he represents the how do I put this? He represents what people aspire to be materialistically, if that makes sense. So more superficial things. Chance the Rapper now, I feel as though he's the direct voice of this generation. Especially when it comes to just social issues and other things like that, and what he raps about for a fact, he raps about what he's been through. Drake's music, yes, they're feel-good music and stuff like that, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's the voice of our generation. It would more so be Chance. And he's more relatable. Not a lot of people know about Chance, hence why more people would say like, "Oh, Drake is the voice of our generation," because Drake is big. Like, who doesn't know Drake?
Right.
Everybody. He got his start from Degrassi, and from there became a rapper. But everybody knows Drake. But Chance the Rapper, granted, he's on the rise, but you'd be surprised how many people don't know about Chance. So I feel as though personally, Chance is more of a, more the voice,
right,
of our generation.
Okay. Because they say, like, Chance, he's, like, this boyish kind of nostalgia about him. Like, he appreciates his roots and things. Not that Drake doesn't, but if you listen to Drake's music, like, with views, he's saying, I'm becoming more and more alone by myself. And it's more me and the people who I think deserve to be in my circle. While Chance, like, pays homage to, like, those like, childhood tendencies and things like that.
Yeah, that's true. But, like, as far as Chance the Rapper, he represents the new era in a sense.
Yeah.
That's happening with young black millennials. Okay. So he represents that, and it's good that we that there's a representation for that, because for a long time I don't feel as though we had that. It was more so like
that's real.
It's more so like you can't express certain things. So they have this thing called Black Boy Joy. And that would have never existed a couple of years ago, because first of all, when it comes to hip hop and masculinity in hip hop, you wouldn't even use the word Black Boy Joy. Like, what is that? Like, That's too feminine. That's too, you know what I'm saying? But like, Chance represent that new era, that new mentality of where black men and black women are heading in a mental way. Drake, not saying that he's not doing that, but in his music, it's just feel good music. It's for the time being. It's nothing like you could sit and ponder like, oh, like, he's really saying some shit. Like, no. It's feel good music, don't get me wrong. But I would say Chance is more so a direct voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next, so as you know, Fidel Castro passed away a couple of days ago. And there's a lot of people, politicians, and even hip-hop artists who had an opinion on it. But specifically, I want to look at what Nas said. So Nas posted a picture of Fidel with Malcolm X, and the caption read, "Rest in peace, King Fidel Castro, revolutionary. Only 5% understand. I'm not Cuban. I don't fully know how he affected my Cuban family, so I'm sending strength and power for your pains. But lots of us as black people and some others in the USA, we saw him as an ally in the struggle." So there's growing up, I was been told in history books he was just a dictator.
Right.
He was this dictator. But me doing research, I found out that he was really against imperialism. He increased the literacy rates within Cuba and spread healthcare and invested more money in healthcare than America does in its education system. So how controversial do you think he was? Do you really think he's a dictator, or?
Fidel Castro, I mean, he was only controversial, I guess, in the eyes of America, because you have to look at the foundation in which America was built on: racism, and more racism, and exploited people who okay, put it this way: the Europeans exploited people who did not look like them. Exploited the Native Americans, destroyed them. Exploited Africans, brought them to America, exploited us for 400 years, killing off all our people. So of course, America built on European standards. They're gonna look at Fidel like he's wrong, he's a dictator, and they're gonna teach that to us because it didn't fit with American views. So of course, now looking back, is like, of course America would say that. Of course America wouldn't want us to go over to Cuba and Cuba come over to us, because for a point in time that was illegal. And I never understood why. But after learning, I learned what you learned. He was a dictator and nothing more. Like nobody said anything, and then his brother had to take over when he got sick.
Right.
But Fidel Castro, I feel as though he was the voice for, like he said, the disenfranchised, in a sense. He was definitely the voice, and he was that voice that people was trying to shut the fuck. Ooh, I can't curse.
It's okay. She's cool with it.
He was that voice that people, wanted to shut up, in a sense. Yeah. So when Fidel, I'm pretty sure when Fidel Castro was, doing his, dictating, but if you look at the things he was dictating about, that makes sense, like imperialism. Of course, America gonna be against that. America was built on shit stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Colonialism. My words are getting messed up. Colonialism. So like Europeans came over. Like I know the whole history. Europeans came over, dictated, saying it's our land and this is really the Native Americans' land. Yep. Fidel Castro was trying to stop that in his own country. Why is he the bad one? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So what Nas said, I don't think it was controversial. It just goes to show you that hip hop artists are smarter than what most people think. They think that hip hop artists only just stick to rapping and don't know nothing educational. It's more to us. The reason why they're such great hip hop artists is because we also know that too. People, it seems like it's hard to believe or hard to do both. Like hard to be in hip hop culture yet be educated. Like no, both go hand in hand. Yeah. And people need to realize that both go hand in hand. Yeah. Like hip hop and education. You're gonna find artists who, there's a lot of artists who's rapping now who's been to college. So, and who has a degree. J. Cole for one. Everybody think that hip hop is just a bunch of ignorant black people rapping on a mic. No. So I don't think it's controversial, and it goes to show you a side of hip hop that we've been trying to tell people that we're all educated. And Nas for one, we all know that he's educated and he's woke. So I don't think it was controversial.
I'm glad you said that. You wrapped it up with that.
Yeah.
So we can't continue combo without talking about Kanye. What's been up with him? So just 2 days ago he entered the hospital, and he was supposed to be released today, but he wasn't. But a couple days ago, or I think last week, he said he'd support Donald Trump. Yeah. And that caused a whole bunch of uproar. So, do you really think he's battling with mental issues, or is just a stunt to get people?
I think it's a little bit of both. We already know that, because it's just funny how he says the Donald Trump comment, and all of a sudden he's been admitted to the hospital. Yeah. That could be not a stunt, but that could be a PR tactic somebody's using to brush the situation up. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. You have to go to a mental hospital, make your fans seem as though something's wrong with you. Right. I feel as though it was a little bit of that, and I feel as though it's also a little bit of true mental health there. Yeah. I mean mental illness there, because everybody knows that since Kanye's mom passed, he has yet to be the same. Mm-hmm. So, and when it comes to mental health in the black community, especially in the hip hop culture, it's not talked about, or it's shamed upon. Like people look at you like you're really crazy. They don't want to offer you any help. They want to exile you from the culture, from the hip hop culture. They don't. So it's just really big that it's happening to Kanye, because Kanye is such a big, figure in hip hop. He's done a lot and stuff like that. So for him to be going through this mental, illness that everybody's saying he's going through, it's really serious. But it also we should also pay attention to the mental illness in the black community as a whole, in the hip hop community, and be more aware of it and stop trying to make fun of it. Because it's always a lot of memes, a lot of jokes and stuff like that. Like, oh, this one is crazy. Like, for example, Orlando Brown. People talk about he's crazy and stuff like that, but instead of saying oh, he's crazy, let's try to get some help. Mm-hmm. But in the hip hop community, it's really that's something we definitely need to work on. I must say, because
addressing mental health.
Yeah, addressing mental health is something we definitely need to work on, especially when it comes to the hip hop culture.
Yeah. So like Kid Cudi too.
But with Kid Cudi. He already, because I feel as though through his music, he already established that he was going through something mentally. Yeah. He already established he was going through depression. He already established that he was on drugs prior to that, So with him, he was one of, I'm not going to say he was the first, but he was one of the first if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He was one of a few people to actually come out and say, yo, I'm going through this, and he put it through his music.
And Drake put it in Sneaking and Dissing with 21.
So like the Drake thing,
yeah.
See, with Drake, he represents the part of hip hop that wants to shame people. You know what I'm saying? He represents that. I feel as though, like, because they try to make it seem like mental illness only happens
to white people.
Or if you do have it, you need to go to church or you need to pray.
Yeah.
Granted, that helps too, but there's nothing wrong with seeking
professional help.
There's nothing wrong with that. So I feel as though Drake dissing Kid Cudi represents that the mentality of what hip hop has been in for a long time. Like, oh, you got some mental issues and you crazy then.
Yeah, you're doing it for attention. Yeah.
Or you're doing it for attention. There's always some other excuse other than the fact that someone really needs. Yeah, you know. So that what Drake did with that wasn't cool at all. But with Kanye, I just hope that he does get help. But as far as like the Donald Trump comment, I feel as though it was a little bit of both. Yeah, a little bit of both, because it's just the timing of it too, which makes me think that it was a little bit of both. So just outlandish. Outlandish.
Well, that is it for today. I'd like to thank Miss Aisha. I'd like to thank Miss Aisha. And
yes,
see y'all later.